Facebook Live, what is going on? I am here just a little early. Got some music playing in the background here, just waiting for everybody to tune in. So I decided to come at you a little early, just to get ready. I got my lunch here, so don't mind me if I'm just grabbing a bite to eat. Say what's up if you're just getting here. Don't mind me, super hungry. Hi Erica, glad to have you. Just grabbing a little bit of lunch before we get started. Michael, how's it going, buddy? Ryan Garcia, good to see you again, man. Hey, shout out to POS. Holler at me in the comments if you heard POS. We're gonna get started here in just a couple minutes, so just bear with me for a second here. Trying to grab a bite to eat here, but super excited for today. This is my favorite part about my story. We're going to be talking about hitchhiking to Mexico, so I hope you got the chance to check out part 1 and part 2. If you haven't, the replays are on my wall, so be sure to check it out. Lots of value there. I tried to, integrate a couple of lessons that I've learned along the way, and so it's not just a story. There's some actual value to it, too, as well, so enjoy the music here while we're getting started. Probably going to get going in about 60 seconds here. Batwing! My man, Batwing! My little cousin Tyler Batnich is like a beast now. This kid is ripped. He's been working so hard. It's good to see you, Tyler. I'm glad you could make it. Hey, Tyler, check out part 1 and part 2 of my story, man. You're going to be interested. But I'm going to go ahead and set this pizza aside here. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds. Grab me one more bite. I just want to let you guys know up front, this is going to be a long video. It's probably going to be about 30 minutes, so be sure to stick it out, hang around for a while. Turtle Feather, where you at, man? You out there at Standing Rock or what? Wingnut. All right. Good to have you guys. I am so thankful that you guys stopped in to hear about my story. Super thankful that Kaylee Grubb, hi. Super thankful for Mark Zuckerberg for bringing to us Facebook. Yay, Facebook. Let me get started here. Turn the music down. Grab a drink of some cranberry juice. Where you at, Turtle Feather? Where you at, man? Let me know. All right. Super excited for today. Part 3. Losing everything to do anything. So, I'm going to go ahead and start with a little Bible verse. This is out of the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 6. My child, if you have put up a security for a friend's debt or agreed to guarantee the debt of a stranger, if you have trapped yourself by an agreement and are caught by what you said, follow my advice and save yourself, for you have placed yourself at the mercy of your friend. Now swallow your pride and go and beg to have your name erased. Don't put it off. Do it now. Don't rest until you do. Save yourself like a gazelle escaping from a hunter, like a bird fleeing from a net. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. They have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work. They labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack you like an armed robber. So, get that out of the way here. Give thanks. Thank you, Jesus, for this day. Thank you, Jesus, for my experiences. And Fort Yates, yeah, we're getting there, man. We will talk all about hitchhiking to Mexico, spending some time in Colorado, riding horses down there in Sonora, Mexico, and then hitchhiking back. Made it back up there to Standing Rock. And so without any further ado, I'm going to get into it. You guys already know who I am. I'm Sean Klongerbo. I'm with Ambition Exclusive. If you like this message, feel free to check me out on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at AmbexClu, AMBEXCLU. I just finished my first ebook called Unleash the Beast Within, mankind's most powerful tool ever. And I really encourage you guys to grab a copy of it. Just go ahead and comment Unleash the Beast, and I'll get with you. I'll send you a copy of it so you can check it out yourself. And it's going to be my gift to you. So what am I doing here? You know, why am I on this? Why am I sharing my story? Well, I've started promoting my own brand, Ambition Exclusive, and I'm a motivational entrepreneur. I want to help people get into business, and I want to help businesses become more successful with what they're already doing. And so, you know, what the heck does that even mean? Like, you know, it might be a little bit out there. You might be wondering, well, what does this have to do with your story? And, you know, if you go ahead and comment Unleash the Beast, I'm going to send you that video or the ebook all about these devices that we carry around in our pocket. Thank you, Steve Jobs. You're the man. You know, and I'm not going to be selling that ebook, even though I should be. It's probably worth 20 bucks. I was originally going to sell it for like $7, but I'm just going to be giving it to you as a free gift because this information is really valuable and I just want the world to have it. So go ahead, comment Unleash the Beast. I'll send you a copy. It's going to explain where we're at in this digital era, what we how blessed we are, how easy we really have it, and how easy it is to share our message with the world, because our message is valuable, our story is valuable, the experiences that we've been through, we can learn from them, other people can learn from them, and it's just as easy as that. So Tyler Batnich, I am gonna get to that, buddy. I am getting there. So without any further ado, we left off somewhere in between. Let's see here. Let's get some jams going. We left off somewhere in between the oil field and hitchhiking to Mexico. So Colton Davey, I don't know if you're here, but Colton Davey broke his shoulder. We put him on a bus after he broke his shoulder. We had a fire. We lost the camper. We lost the Volkswagen, and we lost a bunch of tools and all of our clothes. We had our cell phones and our wallets, and that was it. And so we put him on a bus back, on a train back to Minnesota, so he could go and get operated on his shoulder. And then after that, you know, I decided like I was gonna order a rucksack and a solar panel battery charger, and I had everything I needed. I had my smartphone. Just a little tidbit here: if you ever decide that you want to go and hitchhike, make sure you have your smartphone on you, because I probably wouldn't do it without one. You know, I've learned a lot of little skills about hitchhiking, so I could probably get along without it, but I'd rather not. You know, so you got Craigslist, you got Google Maps. There's a lot of really key things that having a cell phone helps with. You really don't want to get stuck on the wrong road. You might be out in the middle of nowhere and trying to find a ride, you know. But so I loaded up the truck. I still had the flatbed. I didn't have a title for it because I lost the title in the fire. I lost a bunch of paperwork, my birth certificate. I lost a ton of stuff in the fire, and so I couldn't sell my truck because nobody would buy it without a title, and that was just a huge setback for me. So I loaded them up, and I grabbed the dog, and I had maybe $100 in my pocket, enough fuel money to get to Rapid City, and I knew that there was a scrapyard down there that was going to buy my truck. So I'm on my way to Rapid City, and doing probably 80 or 90. I was probably going a little bit too fast, and all of a sudden, poof, and I was like, oh no, a flat tire. Dang it. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. And so I said, nah, dang it, like a flat tire. I jumped out of the truck, and thank the Lord, the tire wasn't flat. I had thrown the tread off of the tire, and it was still holding air. I said, all right, you know, keep on trucking. So I didn't have any tools. I didn't have a spare tire. I didn't have anything. So it would have been just a bad day if that was the case. So I kept on going, you know, made it down the road 90 miles. The check engine light comes on. It starts acting up, and I'm just like, you know, Jesus, just get me to the salvage yard, please. Like, I just need to get to the salvage yard. And so I did. I ended up selling the truck for $300. I managed to get an extra $20 out of the guy for the toolboxes on the back. And so $320 in my pocket, plus a couple extra, a little bit of spare change, and grabbed my bags and the dog, and we walked out to the road and stuck our thumbs out and got picked up pretty almost right away. And the dude gave me a ride down to Walmart, smoked a bowl with me on the way down there, super thankful for that. I was like, all right, this is a good omen, got a good start out to it. And so I had my rucksack, I had a duffel bag, I had way too many things, and I'm hiking, and I'm just like, I need to probably lose a couple things. So I ended up giving away my tent, my sleeping bag, some clothes. I gave away a bunch of stuff to a homeless man in Rapid City, and kept walking, needed a place to do my laundry, and this lady pulled up. She's gave me the finger, come over here, and gave me $50. And I was like, wow, thank you, I appreciate it. What made you decide to give me some money? And she says, oh, the voices in my head told me to. And I was like, wow, if the good Lord isn't looking out for me, then I don't know what. And so I hiked all the way across Rapid City. And Jonathan Michael, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. And so I hiked all the way across Rapid City and got picked up somewhere on the south side of town by a gentleman who was former Air Force, and gave me a ride. He said, I got to stop at the scrapyard, at the junkyard here, and get rid of a couple things, and I can bring you to the truck stop down there. So he brings me to the truck stop, and I'm standing there with my thumbs up, at the truck stop somewhere south of Rapid City, and he all of a sudden I see this car come by on a trailer, and it was being pulled by a truck, and I said, wow, that's a sweet car, it looks like a Rolls Royce. And sure enough, it pulls by. I was like, yep, that was definitely a Rolls Royce. Sweet. Like, you don't see one of those every day. And maybe 5-10 minutes later, all of a sudden it loops around and comes back, and I said, why, is that guy lost? Like, you can't find the car show, or what's wrong with this guy? And he turns around and comes back again, and I'm like, man, what is going on? Nick Carlson, what's up, buddy? Comes around, turns back around, comes back again. I said, what is wrong with this guy? And he pulls over, and I'd seen this Ford Explorer go by a couple times, and they had the camera out the window, and I was like, I seen him go by 2 or 3 times, and I said, wow, those guys better pick me up. Like, they're going to take my picture. The least they can do is give me a ride. And so finally they pull up, and they said, we'd like to get a couple pictures, and they were kind of low-key about what they were trying to do, but come to find out, their producer, they were shooting a documentary, and the theme of the documentary was called What Went Wrong with America. And turns out that the Rolls Royce was actually Elvis Presley's Rolls Royce. And I said, so they wanted me to, give me a ride down the road and stuff. So they pulled up again, and I go and jump in the back of the truck, and he, no, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. He says, you're supposed to get in the car. And I said, what? I can't get in Elvis Presley's Rolls Royce. He goes, yeah, that's the part of it, the Rolls Royce is a part of the deal. What's up, Derek Cobb? Long time no see, buddy. And so I was like, all right, and me and the dog jumped up in the Rolls Royce, and got the camera out, got some selfies, and honestly, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't get pictures and video. It was just so surreal. And they ended up dropping me off down the road, maybe 20 miles or so, left me in the middle of nowhere, and I was just like, gee, thanks, guys. Like, he ended up putting $20 in my hand and said, good luck. And I was like, yeah, thanks, I'm going to need it. You left me here in the middle of nowhere. There's a herd of bison over here, and, traffic on the interstate, and there's no way I'm catching a ride here. And so I hiked. I maybe put in maybe 5 or 6 miles, and I was like, great start. This is the first day hitchhiking, great start. Stuck in the middle of nowhere. I'm looking for a tree to sleep under. Hi, Amanda. And so I ended up getting picked up by this woman who told me this outlandish story. I just could not believe what she was telling me. She said she had connections from the Reagan administration to the Obama administration, all the way down to the motorcycle clubs. She was telling me about gunfights, and she was a trust fund baby. She had told me all sorts of crazy, pardon my language there, I caught myself. She told me all sorts of crazy stuff, and I was just like, I was just trying to hold it together. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, if this is what she's telling me, I gotta believe her at least, and so she ended up letting me, she brought me down the road, down to her house, and she let me crash in the car that night, and the next morning she served me some breakfast, some eggs, and it was nice, gave me a ride all the way over to Lusk, Wyoming, And I got to Lusk, Wyoming, and kind of got stranded there for a while. It's a terrible place to hitchhike out of. And so I hung out in the cafe for a little minute, went back out there and tried to catch a ride. Just wasn't really working out. I was there for maybe 4 or 5 hours and just could not catch a ride out of Lusk, Wyoming. And all of a sudden, I seen this car kind of loop around, and Cody Marmon, what's up, buddy? And so these couple, they pull over and ask me what I was up to. I said, I'm just trying to get to Colorado. I got my bags and the dog and hoping to get on down the way. And they said, well, go ahead, jump in, we'll give you a ride. I said, cool, where are you guys from? Duluth, Minnesota. No way. You guys are from Duluth, Minnesota. That's where I'm from. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota. We developed this connection right away, and it was crazy. I'm going to reiterate this. I kind of talked about it on my other videos, and you never really know who you're talking to. So you just got to give people the benefit of the doubt and, stay positive, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and keep your thumbs up. So that's my message for hitchhiking to Mexico. I'm gonna mention that a couple more times. And so they ended up giving me a ride all the way to Loveland, Colorado, and they dropped me off. I kind of looked for a hotel, and it wasn't happening. I was not gonna get a hotel in Loveland, Colorado. And, I just kind of looked around. I made it to Colorado, the land of milk and honey, the land of flowers and honey oil, if that's what you're into, shout out to all my stoners out there. But, so I said, look, I'm going to go find myself a bag. Pot's legal, man. Pot's legal, Brady Lito. And, so I, hiked down the way a little ways looking for some people and get down to the park and, ran into this one guy and he was just chilling, hanging out, and I said, hey man, you want to smoke me up? And he goes, yeah, I just got this little roach, I was like, dude, we're gonna need more than that, dude. I just came from North Dakota, man. I'm looking for a little bit so we can get stoned, and so the guy that was hanging out there, he hooked us up with a little bag and we rolled a joint and hung out there at the park for maybe 20 or 30 minutes, and that's that good medicine. What's up, Turtle Feather? And so we hung out there and talked about everything. We shared some of the music that we had been listening to, and just really got to know each other for a second. And what are you up to, man? Well, I don't know. Life ain't really treating me right. I kind of bounced out on the girlfriend and this and that, and I don't want to get into Derek's story too much. He's got his own story to tell, but we just decided that we were going to do it together for a while, and so we're like, well, what's the plan, and he says, well, I got to get out of Colorado because they're going to issue me a warrant here soon. And I said, well, I'm just trying to enjoy my time in Colorado, but I'm going to Mexico. That's my game plan. So we hitchhiked. We stayed out in behind an engineering firm in the lawn that night. It was cold, and the next day we hitchhiked through Rocky Mountain National Park. Caught a couple of nice rides. It's kind of Jared. Thanks for stopping in, man. It's kind of tricky hitchhiking through Rocky Mountain National Park. Tons of tourists. The tourists, as my dad likes to say. And eventually we got up the way and made it back down the backside. We seen some elk just up close and personal, right up at the peak of Rocky Mountain National Park. Green meadows. It was off the chain. These elk were 15 feet from us, and we were riding in the back of a pickup truck. It was just living the dream. It was sunny. It was awesome. And so caught a ride back down, got to Grand Lake, Colorado. If you've ever been to Grand Lake, say what's up in the comments. If you haven't been to Grand Lake, I highly encourage you make it out there. It is beautiful. Right up there in the heart of Rocky Mountain National Park. It is truly stunning out there. It's actually the headwaters of the Colorado River. So it's just an incredible place to be. And so we're hiking through Grand Lake, the little town of Grand Lake, and trying to find some pot. I got a cardboard sign that says, it just straight up, got pot with a little weed leaf on it, and we're just flashing everybody. It's Colorado, no explicitives given, and so eventually I seen this girl pull up, it's kind of parked, and I was like, oh yeah, she's got some. What's up, dog? Come say hi. Come say hi to everybody. This is my dog, Brutus, in case you don't know him. So say what's up to Brutus, everybody. Anyways, she says, yeah, I got a little bit, here you go. She gives me, just a nug, and I was just like, what do I owe you? I had money, no big deal, She just, you can have it. So, Derek and I made it to Grand Lake. That was the goal, and so we went down to the park and rolled a fatty and just kind of forgot where we were for a minute, and eventually the time comes where we're like, well, I suppose we better get back to it. And No, dude, no harassing elk. No harassing elk, Nick. That's not gonna work, man. There was terrorists everywhere. They would have turned us in. And so we get back out on the road there. We're sticking our thumbs out, out on the road at Grand Lake, and we were sitting there for a while, getting some snacks and hanging out, and this guy comes walking along the road. We're like, this guy must be doing the same thing we are. And we get to talking to him for a second, and he had hiked the entire Continental Divide Trail from Mexico, and he was headed all the way up to Kalispell. White Fate, what is that? I can't remember. Kalispell, Rocky, what is that? What is the name of that park up there? Northern Montana, and his plan was to kayak from Montana all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. And I was like, dude, you have the plan. That is what's up. And he was an old man, like he was retired. His wife was back at home, and he was just living the dream. And what's up, Brock? And so we parted ways with this guy, and we decided we needed to start hiking. So we get on down the road, and this guy pulls up in his pickup truck and says, "Come on, boys, load them up. I'm going to take you down to the bar. I'll go buy you a drink." And, all right, sounds good to me, And so we get down to the bar, and he bought us a beer, and we shot some pool, and, had a good time. Probably got my butt kicked once or twice in pool. And, I couldn't beat him because he had given me a ride. I kind of had to let him win. But I like to shoot down to the 8 ball most games. I'm really not in it to win. I'm in it to have a good time. And so, he says, "All right, let's get out of here. I'll give you guys a place to stay tonight. We'll go back to the house, we'll grab some beers, we'll start a fire, and we'll just hang out." And so, back to the house we went and started a campfire out back, and he had a cabin right on Grand Lake. The mountains are up there on the other side of the lake. The dining room table. The next day I ate lunch at the dining room table and looked out over the bay window, out across the mountains, the lake in front of me, and I was just like, whew. Grand Lake is heaven. This is where it's at. And so we asked, that night at the fire, I said, "Hey, what are we doing for work tomorrow?" Just threw it out there straight to the point. And he says, "Well, I'm trying to move down to Denver, and if you guys want to help me load them up and pack them out, I'd be happy to put you to work. I'll give you guys some money, whatever's fair." And we said, "Sure." Me and Derek were all about that. We both worked hard, and so no big deal. And so he had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was a little like, and anyway, so after a couple days of helping him out, the girlfriend went crazy. She kind of tried telling us what to do, and we just weren't having it, and so finally he had to take the word from the old lady, and "All right, boys, you guys gotta go. Sorry about that." And so he drops us off in Georgetown, and we caught a ride up to, we dropped us off in Idaho Springs. We caught a ride up to Georgetown, and we're sitting on the on-ramp on I-70 trying to get up to Frisco, and nobody's giving us a ride to Frisco. Just not happening. It was slow. So end up, Georgetown police ends up pulling over and says, where you boys going?" "Well, we're trying to catch a ride up to Frisco." He says, "Come on, jump in, I'll give you a ride." We're like, "What? If you can give us a ride, well, all right, sounds good to me." So he gives us a ride up to Frisco, and we get up there, and I, kind of going around town. I said, "Derek, I got this place we can crash out in." I slept there a couple of times back when I was here in the winter time a couple years ago, and we ended up getting on the bus, and Derek wanted to just take the bus, and then the bus driver kicked us off for having the dog. And so here we are stuck in Frisco. We can't go back down to Silverthorne and stay inside, so I said, "Look, we'll just go build a fire. We'll crash out, by the fire." That was an awful idea. It was 45 degrees that night in July, and just froze our, explicitives off. We were just chilly. So I put holes in all of my clothes. Then this sweater here was actually the sweater that I slept in that night. Holes in it everywhere from the fire, just because we were just coddled up right next to that fire. And next morning we wake up like 4:30, just real early, like, "Derek, we're going down to the gas station to get some coffee, man. I am cold." So we put the fire out and go down into town and, get some breakfast. We had money, so it was no big deal. We sat down and had some eggs Benedict and, enjoyed the weather. It was beautiful. It was going to be 75 degrees out that day. And hiked across Frisco to the on-ramp on the other side of town, and tried catching a ride out of there, not happening. Hiked back, tried catching a ride out of there, not happening. Hiked back, and we didn't have identification, so we couldn't go into the pot store and just buy ourselves some pot. It just wasn't going to happen because our IDs were both expired. So we seen this kid on his longboard, and it was very obvious that he was playing Pokemon Go. And I hollered at him. I was like, yo, I think it's like red, yellow, and green or something like that. And I said, which team are you on? You know, I just knew what he was doing. He hollers back, you know, what team he was on. And, you know, gave him the wave down. Hey, come over here, man. You want to help us out? We don't have IDs. Can you run into the store for us? And yeah, dude, no problem, man. So Derek and him, they go up there, and he walks in, buys us some grass, you know, hooked it up, and then he goes, I got a little secret for you guys. You know, Mom and Grandma, go ahead and tune out here for a second. I'll get back with you guys in a second. But anyways, this kid ends up giving us 4 Sour Patch Kids that were absolutely doused in acid. And so we ate one of them and gave it about a half an hour, and you know, kind of looked at each other and said, well, you want to just do the other one? Yep, sounds good to me, you know. So we ate the other one, and they started kicking in, and we hiked up the hill there, and we were going way up the hill, like just hiking up the hill, just having a good old time. We wanted to go see the view up above Frisco, and you know, we get up there, and there's these old abandoned railroad tracks up there. It was off the chain, super cool and authentic, and we're smoking a joint, and I tossed him this joint from 25 feet, and I just threw it at him, and I landed up above him and rolled down, and he caught it, and we go, yeah, what do we call this? He goes, epic roach toss at abandoned railroad tracks, and we were both stoked. It was awesome. And he goes, all right, man, you know, we got to get down. Like, if we don't get back to what we're doing here, we might not ever come back, you know. So we go back down, and I had probably had a couple of maybe 4 or 5 energy pills that I had taken that day. You just buy them at Walmart or whatever. And you know, we said, well, let's go up to Copper Mountain. We can take the bike trail, and we can just hammer down. So we're hiking up this bike trail and just getting it. It was like 6 or 8 mile hike. And all of a sudden, this lady comes down on her bike, her and her boyfriend or whatever, and she just hollers at us, I am the motor! And we just, like, we could not stop cracking up about that. The whole way up there, we were just busting up laughing about that. And so we get up to Copper Mountain, and we knew that there's a gas station up there, no restaurant. So if we got to the gas station, we could get some food. And we got there, the gas station was closed, and we were like, oh no, man, you know, we couldn't even buy any cigarettes. And so we sat out there on the patio and, you know, just enjoyed the life for a second. And we were gonna keep on hiking. We were just gonna hike all night, but you know, we ended up going through Copper Mountain. It's just a little ski resort town, and I ended up getting hit by a sprinkler from the golf course, and that was it. Like, I couldn't keep hiking. Like, I was literally gonna freeze if we didn't go inside somewhere, because that was my only pair of sweatpants, and it was not happening. So we found one of the condos up there, and walked in. I said, Derek, follow me. I got this, man. So we walked into one of the condos and looked around. Nobody's around. The whole Copper Mountain is just abandoned because it's July. So I said, you know, I got this, man. Follow me. And we walked into the elevator, into the stairwell, and looked up, maybe six stories up. And I said, all right, dude, come on, let's go. So we hiked up 6 stories, got up to the top, and there's an elevator room up there. And I was like, dude, this is home for tonight. This is where we're going to stay. So I slept in a chair that night. He slept on the floor. And I think we had some sunflower seeds for dinner. Woke up the next morning. You know, went out on the balcony and just had a Hobo Hilton first class suite for the night. It was awesome. And we hiked back down, you know, went out to the road and tried catching a ride out of Copper Mountain for like all morning. Just could not catch a ride until about maybe noonish. This stoner ended up picking us up. He had just got back from the dispensary, and he says, you know, I'll give you guys a ride if you can roll a blunt on the way up to Leadville. I said, dude, I can roll a blunt, man, no problem. So I rolled the blunt, and we smoked up. He chiefed us out, and it was, you know, sweet. He got us up to his house, and he said, I'll give you guys a ride down to Buena Vista too. So we get down to Buena Vista, hike across Buena Vista. Nobody's picking us up. You know, we're just like, well, cool, you know, we got quality traffic here, but, you know, there ain't very much quantity here, you know, just not catching a ride. And so we ended up sleeping next to the side of the road that night. Traffic going by all night, trucks and stuff, slept in the gravel. And caught a ride the next morning. down the way, down to wherever the next town was, Salida or something like that, and caught a ride from these girls that were going up to ride some horses. They gave us a ride, a couple sweet rides along the way. And this one woman, she picked us up. She brought us all the way down to Aspen Springs. She brought us to Durango. No, Aspen Springs. And it was, probably 3 or 4 hours she brought us. And so that was just a sweet ride there. Dropped us off in Aspen Springs and caught a ride to Durango. And the guy that gave us a ride to Durango, we asked him, what do you do, man? You got any work for us? And he says, yep, I'm working on an apartment. And if you guys want to help me out, I'd be glad to put you guys to work. And so he put us to work for a few days back in Pagosa Springs. He let us stay in the apartment that we were working on. And so we had a roof over our head. And it always works out, as long as you stay positive, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you keep your thumbs up, it always works out. That was the big lesson that I learned from hitchhiking. So he helped us out for a couple of days, and he actually hooked us up with another guy that put us to work for a couple of days. And so Pagosa Springs is treating us right. And Pagosa Springs has hot springs. So we used to go down there and hang out in the hot springs, get a little hot bath. And all natural hot springs. Then you jump out and go in the river and cool off. And it was what's up, And so this dude that we were working for, he had a whole bunch of deck boards that were synthetic deck boards. And Derek says, dude, you know what these things are worth, man? Spendy stuff. And I said, I don't know what they're worth, man. I'll Google it. So $4 a foot for these boards. And I started doing the math. I was like, dude, we got like $1,000 worth of boards here. And we asked Patrick what he wanted for them. He said $10 a board. I was like, all right, like this is it right here. So I get on Craigslist and I found somebody that bought them, and he paid $600 for these boards, and I had to pay Patrick $200 for them. So I cleared $400 just like that, just by being in the right place at the right time and paying attention. Well, Derek was the one that really knew what time it was, and so, I kind of owe Derek still for that one. If you're tuning in, Derek, don't worry, man, I got you. But, you gotta step on the right side of the snake. I had the cell phone, I made the sale, I talked to the guy, and Derek gave me a sweet tidbit of advice there. But we ended up parting ways there. You spend a month with somebody, and, eventually you kind of just need to get your own space and stuff. And we ended up parting ways in Pagosa Springs. It was sad to see Derek go, and I ended up getting down the way and really started missing him. But the time had come that I needed to get on down the road to Mexico. So I started hitchhiking through what's down there. There's a couple towns in southwest Colorado, real small towns. Shiprock, New Mexico. Never, ever, ever, ever go to Shiprock, New Mexico. Just cross that one off the list. I'll tell you right now, it's not worth your time. And tried to catch a ride south out of Shiprock, and it was just slow going. Ended up sleeping out behind an abandoned house on the reservation in New Mexico. Just like, what am I doing? Where am I at in life? And, another one of those early mornings, went out there on the road, stuck my thumb out, read the Bible, the good word, and I've been reading The Greatest Salesman in the World, and so I do these, I read the, one chapter you read every single day, 3 times a day for 30 days and move on to the next. And so I did my reading, and I gave thanks for, beautiful day, and ended up catching a ride down the way, got to Gallup. What's up, Brett Larson? Caught a ride in Gallup from a truck driver, which truck stops are usually kind of shady, Nowadays, truck drivers can't really give you a ride. So, but anyways, he gave me a ride down to Winslow, Arizona. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Such a fine... Man, it is not a fine sight to see. There's nothing to see in Winslow, Arizona. Don't even worry about it. And caught a ride to Flagstaff from another truck driver. Super thankful for those truck drivers that gave me a ride, and made it to Flagstaff. And, started asking around, where do I find the stoners? Where's the stoners at in Flagstaff, And they kind of pointed me towards the college, Go down to the university, that's where you'll find them. So I get down there, and I seen this one kid walking around at the stadium, and gave him the nod, and the universal signal, and he goes, yeah, dude, like, come on, let's go. So we went out there and chiefed one up, and he ended up giving me a ride kind of a little ways down the way, and ended up hiking out, finding a place to crash out for the night. And it was cold in Flagstaff, Arizona that night. Flagstaff, Arizona is like 6,000 feet. It was probably 45 degrees that night. So another early morning. I'm up early. I get down to the on-ramp of the interstate, and there was two different ways to go. I decided to opt out of going to down the interstate. There was a little bypass road that takes you through the canyon. So I'm standing there with my thumbs up, and all of a sudden this guy comes up in a 55 Jeep Willys, open-faced convertible Jeep, and I'm just like, oh no, it's cold. It's cold. I don't want to, but I had to. It was just like, it was an opportunity of a lifetime to catch a ride through Lost Creek Canyon between Flagstaff and Sedona, Arizona in an open-top Jeep Willys. And so he gave me a ride down there, and got to Sedona. He dropped me off there. I got a bunch of sweet pictures from Lost Creek Canyon. Dropped me off in Sedona, Arizona. And I found this electric bike store called Pedego, and rode this electric bike around town as a trial, convinced him that I was going to buy it and whatnot. And, I had a good time in Sedona. Caught a ride down the way some more, and got to Camp Verde, Arizona, and just could not catch a ride out of Camp Verde. And my friend Maddie, she picked me up. I was singing a song, and I was just hating my life. It was an explicitive song, very simple to the point, but I was singing it as loud as I could because I was just hating my life. It was hot as balls. It was like 95 degrees after being 45 degrees the day before, and I just was like, man, I was like hating my life. Couldn't catch a ride for nothing. And she picked me up, brought me around town a little bit, and had a good old time. Hi, JC. And she ended up dropping me back off. She had a troubled past, but she was working through her stuff. And so we got to know her a little bit, found her on Facebook, and we kind of stay in touch here and there. But I was standing at this truck stop there, and this guy was standing up front, and he was wearing a hat that said, Vietnam vet or something like that. And, I said, welcome home, sir. I appreciate your service. And, thank you. I said, how long you been home for? 20, 30 years, whatever it was. And told me a little bit about it. I said, what are you up to today? He goes, I'm just trying to make some money to pay for my wife's surgery. And I said, well, shoot, man, how much money do you need? And, oh, man, so sorry for that. I had a dead battery. I'm going to give this a couple minutes for everybody to get back on. I hope I didn't lose you guys there. Such a disappointment there. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties. I hope that you guys can tune back in. I'm going to go ahead and give this a couple minutes, and maybe you guys can check me back out. Super sorry for the technical difficulties. Oh, all right, everybody's here. Say what's up. Hi, Mom. Everybody say what's up. We've made it back. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. Had a technical difficulty there for a little minute. We had a dead battery on the cell phone, so technology is off the chain. We have incredible things that we can do with it, but you still got to charge your battery. So lesson learned there. Make sure you get on Facebook Live with a full battery. Somewhere in between Flagstaff, Arizona, and Phoenix, Arizona. Caught a ride to Phoenix, Arizona. It was 110 degrees when I made it there. Ended up getting $20 back from the people that gave me a ride there. I gave the guy, the Vietnam vet, I gave him $20 and ended up making my $20 back right away. So that's the law of giving and receiving right there. When you give, you receive. It's just as simple as that. It's automatic. And so, made it to Phoenix, ended up paying a guy $40 to give me a ride to Tucson, and hitchhiked across Tucson. It took, I had to hike across Tucson. It was like a 12-mile hike. Got to the other side of town and called my friend David and said, come and pick me up. I cannot do this anymore. So they came, him and Sierra, they came and picked me up, brought me to Agua Prieta, the little border town outside of Douglas, Arizona, and got to the apartment there, and it was just, I couldn't even begin to expect what to expect when I got to Mexico. Hey, Steven Imhoff, what's up, buddy? Long time no see. You missed part 1, Entrepreneur or Soldier, so I go into all that nonsense, but you should check it out when you get the chance, man. It's good to see you again. I hope everything's well for you. So I'm in Agua Prieta with David, a little border town, just like, what did I get myself into, And, it took us a good solid week before we ever got out of Agua Prieta. And finally, we made it down to Bossa Rock. the little hometown that he's from, and just had a wonderful time up there. We made it up to the ranch. We got to ride some horses. Hablando con el gente. I spoke a lot with the people. Y practicando mi español. I got to practice my Spanish a lot, and so I just had a wonderful time there. And eventually, I just decided I had to move on. I wanted to meet Colton back up there in Colorado, so, it's time to go. And so I hitchhiked. And David gave me a ride up to Agua Prieta and dropped me off at the border. My mom sent my passport. Thanks for sending my passport, Mom. She sent my passport to me, and Sierra's husband gave me the passport. I grabbed it, unwrapped it, walked across the border just like that, It was pretty crazy, and so tried hitchhiking along the way, just slow going through New Mexico. Made it up to Albuquerque. This wonderful girl named Kim picked me up and let me crash at her place for the night. Smoked me up. She just had some good medicine. And Turtle Feather, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you, buddy. Hey, if you're just getting here, I had some technical difficulties there for a while. Technology's off the chain, but we still got to have charged batteries, so sorry about that. We're back on. We're back live. And ended up out of Albuquerque. I ended up finding somebody on Craigslist that gave me a ride for $20 from Albuquerque all the way to Sioux Falls. And Colton told me, he's like, look, I'm at Standing Rock. You need to come and check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. They're protesting. If you don't know what Standing Rock is, they were protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline out there. And after working in the oil field for 3 years, Eric Mattson, how's it going, buddy? Long time no see. Just telling my story about the time I hitchhiked to Mexico, so, you can check out the replay on there if you missed anything, but I made it to Sioux Falls, hitchhiked across to Pierre, South Dakota, got to Pierre, caught a ride with some drunk Indians. I had to drive their car all the way to Standing Rock because they were too drunk to drive, so, it was a little shady there for a second, but made it to Standing Rock, and I get there, and I didn't know how to find Colton. There's no service there at Standing Rock. They had jammed the broadcast because they didn't want people broadcasting anything out of Standing Rock. Hey, if you're just getting here, I had some technical difficulties there, so go ahead and say what's up in the comments. I'd like to see everybody who's here, who's joining me. And so, right now I'm at the part about being in Standing Rock, South Dakota. Hi, Ashley. Say hi to Gabe. And so, here I am in Standing Rock, South Dakota, protesting the oil pipeline after working in the oil field for 3 years. And, my passion was in water as a fuel source in the first place. So I knew that I didn't really believe in oil from the get-go, but what are you supposed to do? When I worked in the oil field, there was prosperity out there. It was good to see, money. It's just tough. The economy was really bad, graduating from high school and getting out of the military and stuff. And so going out to the oil field was nice, but I just don't believe in oil. I don't believe in what's going on. We have alternatives. There's easier ways to get things done. And, I think we're going to look back on this day one day as the dark ages of transportation and energy. And, so here we are at Standing Rock and, trying to figure out what's going on here, and ended up meeting some people there, some of the elders and stuff, and they taught me a lot of lessons. I realized that I don't listen at all. And my mom, go ahead and comment that, confirm this for everybody. I don't listen. And so, that was a big lesson that I learned there at Standing Rock, was to listen more. I met some people who had showed me some very sacred artifacts. I learned about the significance of the place. There used to be a water vortex there before they dammed up the Missouri River, and that vortex created this, it would round off these stones in the middle of this vortex, and every once in a while it would get out of balance, and it would shoot a perfectly rounded off stone out of the water, and they would all land up nearby where the current town of Cannonball is. And so the white man comes along, and he sees this phenomenon, and that's why he calls it Cannonball. And so, we did a bunch of stuff there, and I met a girl, Amber. Hi, Amber, if you're seeing this, good to see you. And eventually, she had to go back to Wisconsin. She was missing her kids, and so we went to Wisconsin. Spent some time there. Decided that it was time to move on, and she had to focus on her kids, and I had to focus on what I was doing, and so I went and stayed with my Auntie Deb. Auntie, if you're watching, how's it going? Say hi in the comments. And so Auntie let me stay there for a little while. And eventually I was like, I gotta move on. I gotta get back up to the oil field or do something. So I was knocking on doors around the neighborhood and got picked up because I had a warrant in Minnesota. Got picked up for knocking on doors, trying to make some money, and they brought me to Hennepin County Jail. Transported me to St. Louis County. Thanks for the ride, boys. I really appreciate it. And, so that pretty much brings me to where I'm at. I'm just waiting to get through some legal issues, trying to, sort my life out. I've been working online, and it's really incredible. I got my office here set up. I'll show my little office here. I got my notes and all that stuff. Makeshift office. There's my lunch. And it's incredible what technology does, because I've been able to broadcast my story live to all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And David Grady, how's it going, my friend? So on that note, I just want to take this chance to promote my ebook. It's my gift to everybody who's watched this. It's called Unleash the Beast Within, Mankind's Most Powerful Tool Ever, and it talks all about the digital era that we're living in, how to monetize your social media, how to take advantage of the technology that we're using, and how to make the most of the experiences that we've been through and the information that we have to share with the world. And so if you'd like a copy of that, go ahead and comment Unleash the Beast in the comments. I'd be happy to send you a copy. If you're watching the replay, send me a private message. And other than that, I hope to come at you tomorrow with part 4, which is the vision. So where am I at right now? That has been part 1, part 2, part 3, everything leading up to this moment in time. And tomorrow, I just decided to do a bonus. I'm going to talk about the vision. I'm going to talk about where this brand Ambition Exclusive is going, how I've been able to monetize my social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of these platforms that we have. I'm on YouTube. I have a channel on YouTube. I've been making videos there. And so I really want to take the chance to share about my vision, what I plan on doing with this brand, and how I can help get started, help people get started as entrepreneurs. So if that's something that you're into, if you want to work from your laptop or your computer, you want to share your message with the world, and you want to learn how you can monetize your own social media, go ahead, comment Unleash the Beast. I'll send you a free copy of my ebook, Unleash the Beast Within. There's tons of value in it. I know you're going to enjoy it. And so other than that, I appreciate you guys for stopping in. Add me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at AmbexClu, AmbexClu. And I hope to catch you guys, tomorrow with part 4, the vision. So if you've stuck around this long, I appreciate you sticking around, and stay motivated.